Hey folks, this is Matt J. Rainwater, comic book creator and artist, and I guess that's the same thing, right? I don't know. I work on the comic books Batmonster, which you can find at batmonster.com, Trailer Park Warlock, which you can find at mattjrainwater.com, The Filling is Multiplied, which, let's bring up a little bit of Filling is Multiplied right here, at thefillingismultiplied.com, and as well as colorist for the Plants vs. Zombies comic put out by Dark Horse Comics. I'm going to show you a little bit right here, but we'll come back to that in a second because that's what I'm going to be working on while I talk to y'all about. I think this is my third project's diary. I took a week break. A lot of things happening, a lot of stressful life stuff going on. Let me show you some of the stuff that I've been working on over the week. This is for a future Batmonster strip. Um, but at the same time, I'm finding the time to plug away at work. And by work, I'm referring to the Plants vs. Zombies comic book, as well as my side projects, that being The Feeling is Multiplied, Batmonster, Trailer Park Warlock, which I have not been plugging away so much with, and a secret project that, if y'all have been following these project diaries, I haven't been divulging much into, and I will continue not to divulge into, other than to show you, give you a hint at what some of this stuff looks like. I will only intimate that it is in some ways related to the Batmonster universe. It's certainly part of the same Nyla myth, which if you've been following Batmonster, you may have some idea about. And hey, you have a better idea than I do on what you're reading. That's all I gotta say about that. And here's some thumbnails of a future page for the secret project. My deadline for this project is in January, and so far I'm doing okay. I ended up spending the last, since the last project's diary I made, I think I spent the last week and a half thumbnailing pages 37 to 50. I ended up actually adding 2 pages to the project. But it's good because it allowed the project to breathe a little bit more, and it's gonna be. I'm feeling excited about it. I just have to get it done. Talking about it right now, actually, I think I'm gonna just doodle a little bit before I get to Plants vs Zombies, and maybe I should just speak on that a little bit tonight. Kind of my feelings about personal projects and how that involves itself with your work, and my feelings about the projects that I engage with at this point in my life is that anything that I do that I'm not doing for money better damn well be fun. That's really like, don't worry about the money aspect of it. Will it make money? Whatever. Worry about, I don't even worry, but focus your thought process on, is this actually going to be enjoyable for me? Will I like doing it? Is this the kind of thing that I can do where I can walk away from it during the day and come back to it after a hard day of work and enjoy myself and lose myself in the process, and be fulfilled by the sum total of the process? That's a really important question to ask yourself, because that's really crucial. That's really the most important part of any artistic endeavor. Is, are you enjoying it? Is the creative process of it enjoyable for you? Do you like it? Does it give you satisfaction in working on and completing it? I'm sure there are people who make arguments like, oh, It's more about the finished product, the finished goal, than it is about the route, or than the route. And I'm really more of a journey rather than destination person myself. I certainly hope that the things that I make have, as a completed work, have something worthwhile, but I'm not necessarily going to always bank on it. Especially with Batmonster stuff. Batmonster stuff is so entirely about enjoying the process and having fun with the process. The meaningful aspect of it is making the strips. It's it's me taking kind of an automatic doodling kind of process and turning it into an organic, living story. And so that's really how I approach. That's how I try and approach the art that I make. That isn't, immediately making me a lot of money, or like I'm doing this in lieu of playing video games or watching TV. And I think that's the best way of putting it. And that's why I do this. I can't think of anything more enjoyable to me at this time of my life in terms of extracurricular activities than to make comic books. The comic books have been something that I've been engaged with since I was like 7, and I have been in one form and another making comic books, drawing since I was about 5, and it's for people who aren't minded or geared in that kind of way, it might be hard to relate to. But I do think a lot of artists sort of come from that line of thinking where it's like, well, I've just done this for so much of my life, and it's really kind of like a habitual part of me, in the same way that maybe, I don't know, picking your nose, or I don't know. It's like, how many habits do people have from their early childhood that stays with them into later adulthood? Really, honestly, like in my mind, drawing should be something that everybody carries with them into later stages of life. Art in general, maybe not necessarily drawing, but making music or writing or even just play acting. I say just. But even play acting, like all those things, all those forms of expression, they have meaning to us that is intrinsic within, within your own personal life, right? Like, the meaningfulness of drawing Batmonster for me is connected to the meaningfulness of having drawn comics since I was like 5 years old. And that's an incredibly meaningful thing. That's deep, right? Like, that's in a sense primitive. And that's why I engage with it. And I engage with it as much as I can. And, as I'm moving forward in life and having more responsibilities and coming across all these new challenges in my life and new forms of work that I have to engage with, I'm thinking more and more, how do I incorporate this really crucial, important part of my life into my daily process? How do I at least guarantee that I'm going to have, maybe 30 minutes a day to draw, to make, if not comic books, maybe music, maybe a painting, maybe who knows what. And that's a question we all have to kind of solve for ourselves and figure out. And we all come up with different solutions, right? We all come up with different answers. Unfortunately, sometimes we also just fall into a place where we aren't even able to engage at all. And I guess the thing that I would like to talk about tonight, or just kind of give a my takeaway today, is not necessarily, a prescriptive axiom or anything like that, but more of a question, an open question to think about, which is, in what ways can you better engage with a creative life in your own life, despite the the activities and responsibilities that come with adulthood, school, work, family, whatever it may be, right? How can you engage in that? How can you engage with the creative life in a way that isn't about, an either or situation of, well, I can either be creative or I have to starve. Unfortunately, the kind of world we live in, the capitalist system that we live in, makes it such that we're oftentimes putting ourselves in that position of making those kinds of decisions. I've talked about time management. I've talked about all these skills that we have to learn to better engage with opening that time and making it available to ourselves. But when push comes to shove, when the rubber meets the road, whatever other metaphors you want to use, nevertheless, there are times when it seems nearly impossible to be able to engage with a creative life. And maybe the first thing that I would suggest is take your work seriously enough that you feel obligated to make it exist. Not if that makes sense. Like, feel some sense of an obligation that the ideas in your head are worth leaving your head and having the formality of existing in the shared world around you. And from that seed, most art begins. And it takes a little bit of, I don't know, selfishness, narcissism, or some sense of, self-importance, for lack of a better word here. But you have to have some sense of your ideas matter. Your ideas mean something to you. Or maybe not even that, though, when I think about it. Maybe not even that. They should at least mean something to you, right? Is there art that you want to make that you want your friends to see? Or is there art that you want to make for yourself to see? Anyway, those are kind of some of the thoughts that I'm having. I thought I was gonna just color Plants vs. Zombies in front of you and end up inking some stuff, but I think that's all I really have to leave for you tonight before I get to work here. I really thank you again for listening, as always. If you want to find out more about my stuff, you can go to mattjrainwater.com. And you can also just go to all the websites that I have listed previously. And one more time, you can check out all my work. You can check out my work at batmonster.com, thefillingismultiplied.com, Trailer Park Warlock. Or no, that's not one. mattjrainwater.com. Oh, how many websites do I have? garageraja.com. How can I forget Garage Raja? Anyway, folks, keep plugging away. Keep at it. Y'all have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Oops. I'll say bye in just a second. Bye.